There you are. I haven't seen you for a while. I don't know what you were up to. Buddy the dog has been doing something. We have been having crazy weather. Miserable even, you might say. Super windy, and it rained quite a bit. But I'm thinking this little trash heap here needs some attention. You see how everything has fallen off of it that was on it or near it? And I'm not having that. This looks like garbage, and I want to clean it up. So what we need to do to make that happen is fix this rim. There it is. The sadness hole, you see. So what to do? Well, I have a parts tractor that has a rim on it that is equally worse. It's missing half of it probably. So what I'm hoping is I can cut a section out of that and just weld it into this, and that would be the easiest and nicest repair that we could do. So we're going to get started on that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, Rusty Oliver Man, the little 1250A, has just been patiently waiting, friends. It's been patiently waiting for getting its wheels cleaned and fixed on this side particularly. And we were making good progress, and then life happened and we just didn't get anything done. But we need to do that because the tire sitting full of water ain't doing it any favors, you know. And yeah, like I said, it's so windy. One of these times it's going to probably blow off of there, and then we're going to have even more struggle bus of getting that the way that it should be. So yeah, step one is going to be to get the other rim, and then we will see if we can make that happen with cutting out a patch. I'll have to get a loader tractor though, because the other rim is actually underneath, like the tractor is sitting half on it, so we need to extricate it. So let me work on that, and then we will see what we can make happen. Oh, see, I like how whenever I want to start doing something outside, it starts getting super windy or something like that for no reason at all, you know. We don't need that. Let's get this horsey fired up. I forgot I got some tools still laying on here. We didn't clean up from our last adventure, but that's okay. We're gonna be working on this again whenever that stuff comes for the back. Battery's still hooked up. Okay. I don't know why I didn't pull the choke out. It needs it every time. Now we're gonna go get a chain, and I know just the one because I forgot it out in a place where we don't want to lose it and it goes down into the ground and we hit it later. So we'll just go get that one. Whoa, horsey, whoa. Whoa. When I say whoa, I mean whoa.
Whoa. Stupid dragon.
Somewhere out here, I noticed the other day when I was walking out here, I forgot that I left it lay. And that's not good. How did I do this exactly? Well, struggling. Yeah, I found it laying out in there, and so I draped it over this gate. When we were pulling out this original fence, that's when we used this chain. Yet another pile of crap that needs to be cleaned up. There's my jumper cables. They probably aren't any good anymore. There's my forklift. It needs attention. Sure. Okay, well, what do we not want to destroy? This one's got a toolbox on it. It's kind of rusty though, so I guess it doesn't matter if it gets hurt. Maybe I can lift it from the drawbar actually. We might try that. Sleep. That is one of the most handy things. I use it probably almost every day. It's hard to believe. All right, here we have a bunch of junk that we're going to try to make into less junk than it really is. They should be the same size, more or less, aren't they? Very close. But what I'm hoping is, like this side is pretty good, I could just cut me a section out, and cut me a section out of that one, weld her together, and life would be great. It'll be a lot easier, I think. I might even be able to, we'll address that in a little bit. I might try to cut one that's just inside here and fix it, but those should be close enough that I ought to be able to just cut the outside too. I don't know. Our next affair that's going to be difficult is finding cutoff wheels. Every time I go to the store I think I need cutoff wheels, and I buy some, and I can almost never find them when it's time to use them. So that's what I'll do now, and hunt that up. Alright, as per usual, we took the long way around. I knew I had just bought some, but of course they were nowhere to be found. So in frustration, I gave up for the day, and I thought I'll clean my pickup out, because it's tax time anyway. Make sure I got all the receipts out of there. And then I found my cutoff wheels, buried at the bottom. So that would make sense, because they came from town and the truck was what went to town. So sure. There we go. You gotta be careful, because if you drop it too aggressively, you know what happens. You break your brand new cutoff wheel, and that is a very frustrating situation. Now, many people are tempted to cut the hole or to cut the patch the same size as the hole. But what you really want to do is cut a patch and then cut your hole to fit that patch, instead of trying to do all kinds of crazy stuff. Now, I see a lot of badness. I see badness from there all the way till here, at least. So it's got to be a pretty aggressive patch. And we'll cut a section out of this and see what we can do. We're gonna have, you know, we gotta deal with the rail eventually too if we get too crazy. So probably try to cut like right along this rail here and then cut our other end somewhere. And that's what I'm gonna do. Also, it's super windy, so you may not be able to hear nothing. Also, I should probably figure out how to, I think we want the handle different one here. Maybe just not on at all, because it's going to be in our way. Have to switch cutting wheels, but let's get the tape measure and see if that's going to do it for us. Looking like about 7 to 8 inches is what's going to take. So we're right in the neighborhood. We're just on top of that rail, or just getting there. So if we just cut into that now, like what I'm saying is if we cut towards what we just did, we should be good. And then we'll figure out from there how to trim our patch down or trim our hole down so that they play nice together. Because right now, they won't play nice together. But that's okay. They don't have to. This is supposed to even do stainless. And that's harder than regular steel, so I don't know. I don't know. Cool. Now, you can see the method to this madness. I'm thinking real hard about just cutting the whole thing. We could always do that if we decide we don't want to do what I'm thinking, but sometimes it's easier if you leave the outer lip intact. And then sometimes it's easier if you just cut it all and be done with it. But yeah, so we got us a patch. Now we just got to make us a hole that matches said patch. So let me think a little bit about that, and then I'll get some cutting done on it. We gotta be mindful of where the damage actually is. But right in there would be a good place to be. And once we get that welded together, then what we'll do is we will find another place that's not there, and we will flatten out and make a valve stem hole, and then all will be right with our world again. So give me a little bit and I'll sort out on this what I want to do. Okay, that was so rotten. I decided we're just going to make the whole thing go away. Now we'll have to do some trimming to get this to lay down in there, because of course I didn't get it just precise. Actually, that side, well, it's not as perfect of a mate as I thought it was, friends. And I messed up a little bit, but I think I can fix it. But what I'll do is, boy, I missed that pretty bad. And I know why I did it too. Because I was in a hurry, for one. But no. I'll get her welded up. Don't worry about that. We'll trim a little off of that side to make her go. This isn't my first rodeo. I messed up a little bit. We'll get this welded in, then I'll cut a filler strip and weld it in there and get that cleaned up. That was my bad, and the reason why is because I measured it laying over here, and I should have thought about the distance from here to there, and that's exactly what that strip is. So towards evening, and got a little too excited, and that's how she rolls. But I'll hack away at it, and we'll get it. This is not the worst I've ever seen, you know. I could technically, I guess, cut another patch. Maybe I want to do that, but then I'm back to the I'm back to the condition of cutting the patch to fit the hole instead of the hole to fit the patch. You know what I'm saying. I don't know. We'll see. You know, if you lay it there, it was a lot closer. So I don't know. Let me think on that a minute. I hate to destroy another section of this rim for patching, but I'm apt to say that's what I'm going to do, maybe, so that I don't have a gap to fill. It's easier to trim down a patch or open a hole up a little bit than it is to try to weld in another strip. We can save this for another time when we got a rim that needs patching. So that was a practice run, I guess, is what the moral of that story is. But yeah. Okay, round 2. The joy of the cutting wheel. Sometimes life does you like that. So that's dandy. We're almost through with our second patch. So much for that wheel. We'll put on another one and try some more. Come on. Okay, somebody did a really good job of welding on the rail on that one. So, sure. Oh, that's gonna be crap. It's not gonna come off of there. Life just keeps kicking us in the Knudsen, friends. But I think this will be okay. This actually is very, very, very close to the final shape. I think it needs to go just a shade more. Still not quite. Oh yeah. It's good enough. It's good enough that I think we will tack it in there, because we can get everything to line up now pretty good. We might have to tweak it a little bit, but when we get it lined up in there, then we can grind out some V shapes and stuff and get it in there better, and then weld on it. And I think we'll be able to make this a usable rim again. We got to try to keep it somewhat round so it doesn't hop, but I think we can manage that. It's not it's really, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of an area, but we will get it fairly consistent. We'll have to move closer to our cables here. Never mind our trash, we never got picked up. And then when the water comes out, it washes more trash back here, but sure, I'll work on it, and I'll bring you back when there's something exciting to show. All right, progress is being made, but I'm probably gonna have to quit for tonight because I can't see that. Every time I go from the welding to the looking, I can't see it well enough now. It's dark enough outside, it's messing with me. So I'm gonna have to pick this up tomorrow. So that's what we'll do. Well, I said I wasn't going to do any more, but I did. That needs a lot of grinding. I had to do some stuff I'm not proud of in some places. That's a mess right there, but we'll grind it off and then re-weld whatever we have to. But we need to also do the back side, and I'll probably do that first and then go back and do this side, and that way it'll be less likely to want to burn through, you know. If you got something on both sides, it helps. So the second time should, in theory, be better than the first time, but I think that's going to work for us. And then once we get that ground smooth, we'll pick another place and we will put a valve stem hole, and then we'll be ready to clean this all up, paint it, and then put it back on the tractor, mount a tire, live our happy life. But there's a lot of work to do yet, and we'll just have to do that probably tomorrow. It's getting cold and dark, and I can't hardly take it anymore out here, so that's what we'll do. All right, well, we woke up today to some of the devil's dandruff, but it's pretty well melted away. But we're gonna try to keep plugging on our rim project anyway. What do you think, Buddy the dog? Huh? You got a permanent coat on, so you're happy. He is way more excited when it's cold like this than I am. This is just his temperature. Let's take a look at what we did yesterday. It's not pretty at all, but it is in there. So that's step one. I think what I'm going to do now is I will switch my wheel back to grinding wheel, unless I can find my other somewhere. I should have another angle grinder so I don't have to keep going back and forth. But we will grind this up because it's got to be smooth. But we'll grind it up a little to see where our flaws are, because I'm sure there's a couple places where there might be a hole. If I really get to grinding on it, I don't know. And then what we'll do is, oh yeah, you don't know about that, but I had to get a little creative there. We're gonna knock that out of there. And we'll probably weld the bottom side, or however you want to look at it, the inside of the rim. We'll get that, and then we'll come back to this side and address what we have to. But we kind of got to go back and forth till we get both sides where we're happy. The other side is just for looks, but this side has to be smooth. Otherwise we won't have, yeah, we'll have constant sadness with our tube. It will always go flat, you know, if it's rough. So let me get the grinding apparatus, and then we will try this and go from there and see where life takes us. Okay, friends, I feel it's time to bring you back for just a short minute. I've been working on this, ground it down, welded it up, ground it down type of thing, chasing spots that I think are not good. There's one right there that's going to need more attention. I guess I ground it a little thin, but that's okay. We will touch that up potentially, and then I think we're going to flip it over again. We're going to weld on that a little bit more, or the same type of thing, grind on it, which I've already ground on part of it, but whatever. Grind it, weld whatever needs welded. Try to get it as good as we can. I'm really not concerned about the outside. I know that sounds stupid, but if it doesn't look the prettiest, who cares? I'm more concerned about the inside that has to do the sealing. So there's something there. I don't know what that is. Let's hit it with the Chinesium grinder. Maybe. That's like tar. Sure. Some type of like road tar or something. Which tells you how much fun it's going to be to clean up this whole rim, because it is probably full of all kinds of garbage. But I'm happy with the progress we've made so far. We just need to keep going. Like I said, this I thought was pretty well done, except for now I see that hole where I ground a little too much. So we will do the thing, friends. We'll do the thing and keep going until we're satisfied and smiling. But I think we're almost there. I mean, it's solidly in there. We just need to make it smooth and pretty, especially on the side that's important. Then what we'll do is we will need the torch. We'll need to get this out of there while we got it this far. Then we'll pick a place we're going to put our valve stem. We'll heat this a little bit and then knock it flat, and then I'll drill a hole through there, and it'll look just like original, except it'll be in a totally new spot. So yeah, I guess I'm not done here like I thought, so I better put that back. I'll give that a little quick touch and then flip it over probably, and then weld the back, and then life will be grand. All right, so I am what I would consider to be done here. I started cleaning up the rest of the rim, and that is going to be a monumental task. This is probably one of the rustiest ones, I guess, I've ever dealt with. And then the other side's going to be a pain because of all of the different layers of paint that somebody has felt the need to put on there. And then of course our freezing cold weather is not exactly conditions right to be really working on this, so it's probably going to get tabled now again. But we have the patch nicely welded in, and I think we're good to go. That maybe isn't the best view, but trust me, it looks snazzy. We'll roll it around. It's gonna work, friends. It's gonna work. So I think we will leave this one here. In the next one, whenever we go back to this, we are going to attempt to put a hole in it and make it what it should be, and then clean it up and paint it. But I think I'm about done for today. The lighting is going to get not good here in a little bit, and then yeah, I'm kind of over it out here being out in the cold. So I think we're going to just pause on this project again. We got the hardest part done, which was cutting, welding, making it as a new one as best we can. Now we just got to spend hours and hours getting that trash off of there, friends. That's I'm from about there till here. I still need to do, and I need to switch to the knotted wire brush. I think it will do a better job, but some of that big scale I had to use the angle grinder to get it busted loose. But we're on the right track, friends. What I want to do is I want to have this ready to go and then clean up that front wheel at the same time so I can paint them both. I'll actually hang this back on the tractor to paint this right here. I might actually, before that, I might spray the inside silver, clean it up and spray it first, and then hang it on the tractor, then go. Or we can pull it back off again when we're done and clean it up and whatever. But the inside's going to be silver, and this, where the tire goes, is going to be gloss black, because gloss black is about the most durable paint you can get, you know, and it will hold up in there. And I found that if you paint it on with a paintbrush, you get a nice thick layer, and it really stays nice for a long time. So that's how she goes. So yeah, I think we did it a favor, because this wasn't doing it any favors. So we will table this until a later date, but we have the hardest part ahead, or behind us. You know, it is a rim shape again. All we got to do is just make her go. So we're going to leave this one here. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. And that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.